Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Picard Season 3, Patrick Stewart, and how it might have been his fault that Picard Seasons 1 and 2 were terrible.
Yes.
This is really interesting stuff. He has a memoir called Making It So out. And there's some other interesting tidbits that came out, like he stormed off the set of Next Gen because he couldn't deal with the noobs.
He was being an asshole.
He was being an asshole. They weren't taking the craft seriously enough for him when they first started. And look, he's really good friends with those guys now. But first, he was a Shakespearean actor, and he's like,
they're just thought he was too.
Yeah, he thought he was, and they were goofing around on set.
I hate to break it to him. Why'd you take the role? Because Star Trek isn't Shakespeare.
Star Trek pays more than Shakespeare.
Neither was Robin Hood Men in Tights, but you know.
And X-Men.
Yeah, right?
So let's and Dune.
X-Men was after when he chilled out.
Yeah, he did. He did chill out. He was in Dune. You know, so I don't know. There's a paycheck, right? So let's talk about this. And disclaimer, I do like Patrick Stewart quite a bit. But this is some really interesting stuff because everybody is blaming the showrunners for season 1 and 2 of Picard like being completely detached from Next Gen. And it sounds to me like Patrick Stewart was actually behind a lot of it.
He was the reason for a lot of it.
I mean, they dropped the ball that they could have handled it a lot better.
I agree.
You know,
but the reason we didn't tie it to Next Gen was because Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, so let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get a woohoo.
Woohoo.
A woohoo if you do. Geeky, you've watched some of season 3 of
I
Picard.
only watched season 3. I didn't give a shit about the other ones. I didn't care.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1. I'm like, this is going to make me angry, and I've got enough to be angry about, so I'm not going to watch it.
Didn't even watch it because I just didn't care.
To me, it was
nope.
Blade Runner. It was trying to be Blade Runner, and it was like
I did watch part of it when it was turned into the Next Generation 2.0, and then it was good then, and I watched some of it when you were watching it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I actually held off on. A lot of people came to me and said, you have to watch season 3 of Picard. I'm like, why the hell would I do that to myself? You know? And they're like, no, it's actually good. I'm like, bullshit. There's no way they can fix this show. This show is done. It's whatever. Star Trek is dead to me. I'm done. I'm out. I'm watching the Orville. That's it.
Hold my breath and toy turn blue.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so finally, after about 6 weeks, we had a puppy, and the puppy was up every 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm like flipping through the channels, and I'm like, you know what? I'm tired anyway. I'll check out Picard season 3. And I was like, oh my God, it's actually pretty good.
There you go.
I was like, what? Because the puppy, I kid you not, the puppy, Vivi, he loves.
Vivi. He's not a Vito. He came with the name Vito, but he's actually more of a Vivi.
He is. He's supposed to be. He doesn't want to be bad, but he is.
He's Vivi.
He's Vivi. So he likes Patrick Stewart. I found this out because when I would sit up with him again, because he wouldn't go back to sleep. He wanted to party at like 2:00 in the morning. So I'd sit on the couch in the living room, and we would watch Next Gen reruns. And I swear to God, every time Patrick Stewart came on, he would just calm right down. I don't know if he was.
He also liked Doctor Who.
He did.
Doctor Who.
Old Doctor Who. Tom Baker. He liked Tom Baker. And he liked Patrick Stewart. I don't know what it was about these guys, if he like put him to sleep or what. Like old British guys put this dog to sleep, but he would calm down. He would actually look around. He knew Patrick Stewart was on screen. Like, it was like war for somebody. He'd be like, I don't care. Freaking Picard.
He also loves his mama, but that's another story entirely.
Anyway.
So can we get to the point?
I'm getting to the point.
Patrick Stewart apparently gave 3 conditions for coming on the show and doing the Picard.
Yes.
And it was in this book, he laid them out.
Yes. Condition 1, the series would not be based on a reunion of the Next Generation characters.
There you go.
I wanted it to have little or nothing to do with them. This was not at all a mark of disrespect for my beloved fellow actors. I guess they all actually do get along in real life. Rather, I simply felt it was essential to place Picard in an entirely new setting with entirely new characters. Perhaps Picard might encounter Riker or Dr. Crusher in the 2nd season, but such encounters were not to be the series' reason for existing.
Okay, but that was dumb because the season everybody liked was when it was Next Generation 2.0.
I think they gave up after. They're like, just give them what they want. Just give them what they want.
There's a reason why we only have 3 seasons too. So number 2, Picard would no longer be serving in Starfleet, and he was not to wear any kind of uniform or badges. So everything about Picard, we're not going to do that. So everything people would tune in for, fuck that.
I was like, I mean, when they announced it, they're like, okay, he's not going to be in Starfleet or whatever. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, was he just going to like putter around and...
He probably's like, I don't want to wear those stupid uniforms because they're uncomfortable.
No, that was the whole thing. People were like, why'd the uniforms change in Next Gen from season 1, 2 to 3? It was because of Patrick Stewart.
Oh, was it?
He had like the spandex. Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing that stupid uniform
I'm
again.
not wearing that stupid uniform again.
And 3, the series would run for no more than 3 seasons.
It was clear to me, though, that the writing team was not entirely thrilled with these conditions. Basically, they were all agreed to. The no uniform rule was the toughest one for them to stomach for some reason. And more than once, I was asked to reconsider my hard line. I stuck to my guns.
So the reason we have what we have is Patrick Stewart's fault.
I think, again...
I don't think the showrunners did any favors with what they had left to work with, but...
In better hands, it would have been good.
Okay, in better hands, it might have been good if Picard was still in Starfleet.
Yeah.
I think that you were going to do a show about Picard, but he's no longer Picard, was really stupid. I'm sorry, but it was. Like, everything that made Picard, Patrick Stewart didn't want to do.
Okay, so here's how they talked him into it. This is Terry Matalas, who was the guy who did season 3. And
yeah, well,
kudos.
The ratings sucked.
The ratings sucked. I think they were just like, hey, your ideas, Patrick, they don't work. For season 3, our last, Terry Matalas, by then Picard showrunner, told me the studio wanted a full next-gen reunion.
We want to save this train wreck.
Yep. Just what I firmly said I didn't want, but that had been 3 years ago. Now I was less resistant, having enjoyed working with Jonathan, Brent, Marina, John, and Whoopi. As an executive producer, I had say in how we might go about achieving such a reunion. I told Terry I like the idea, provided we don't bring them all back at once. Let's trickle them back in.
So I didn't want to work with those shits until I worked with them here and there on an episode or two. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember how much fun we used to have. So now I'll work with them again. But I'm not wearing that damn uniform, and we're not doing more than 3 seasons.
Can they still act? Are they still actors?
I mean, I'm still a Shakespearean actor.
I'm still a Shakespearean actor. But
Whoopi's over there on The View getting in trouble all the damn time.
Oh my God, Whoopi,
so,
stop. I used to love Whoopi Goldberg. I did. I thought she was great. But now she just doesn't stop talking. God, just stop talking. Anyway, yeah, so he doesn't do himself this book. I'm really curious.
He's honest. I mean, I'll give him credit for that.
I might actually pick up a copy of this book because he doesn't do himself any favors. Because he talks about how when they first started Next Gen, again, being a trained Shakespearean actor, and he was with the plebs, and they were all goofing around, and there's all kinds of outtakes. That he got so mad he walked off set. I just think that's funny. Yeah, he said.
Oh yeah, it was Denise Crosby he got mad at. He's like, God. Yeah, he said, I bet she said, we've got to have some fun sometimes, Patrick. And he said, we're not here, Denise, to have fun.
And then she quit the show.
I wonder if she did because she couldn't.
I don't know. I'm wondering that too. She quit. Everybody's like, oh, she quit the show because she wanted to have a movie career. And she did like Pet Sematary, and that was about it. But I'm like, did she quit the show because she couldn't stand working with Patrick Stewart?
Okay, so everybody started laughing at him when he said that. In the moment, the cast erupted in hysterics in my pompous declaration. I didn't handle it well. I didn't enjoy being laughed at, so I stormed up the set to my trailer.
Oh my God, he really is Picard in real life. He really is. So after that, Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner came to his trailer for a heart-to-heart chat. People respect you, Spiner told him. But I think you misjudged the situation here. So Data has to explain human emotions, feelings to Patrick Stewart. And he's a fun guy. Like, I've listened to both of these guys. I've listened to them in podcasts, and they're both hilarious. They're really, really fun guys. I think they probably were kind of the glue that kept it together. And they all get along now. Like, I've never heard them trash talking, one another or whatever. But like, yeah, I could totally see them just going off the rails and Patrick Stewart being like, I'm just here for the check.
Well, he admits, he's like, I could be a severe bastard, he said once. My experiences at the Royal Shakespeare Company and National Theater have been intense and serious. So he's like used to that. And then he comes in here and they're like,
party time.
Excellent. Sorry.
Oh my God. I think I read before. I have to double check on it because now we got Trekkies in the comments. Or be like,
I don't know. Don't care that much.
I have to double check.
I used to read the books though. Once upon a time, I used to read the novels,
Peter
the
David.
next gen novels.
Peter David used to write some of the books, I think.
I used to read them, but it's been a long time.
Next Gen was so good. It was so good. So yeah, why they would, say, hey, let's not go back to that. If you're gonna do it, freaking do it. And they had a great chance to send these characters off. Because the last movie was dog shit. Nemesis was horrible. We went to the theater to go see it and it was like, what the hell was that?
Know.
Like, that's the end of Next Gen. This is how it ends with a fart. It's just like, what the hell? At least they gave him a proper send off,
But we go and finally get Picard. Everybody's excited. It's like, oh my God, it's Picard, guys. We're going to get Picard back. We can get Next Gen in 2.0. No, because Picard said no, and he didn't want to be Picard anymore, and he didn't want to wear the uniform, and he wanted to be part of Starfleet, and everything you thought about Picard, he's not those things, and it was unfun, and people didn't like it until they said, hey, you know what, we're going to do a reunion, and then people liked it, but that was the last season because they're only doing 3 seasons.
You know what, though? If they ended there, I'm fine with that.
They at least gave people what they wanted.
They at least gave people what they wanted.
Star Wars never did.
No, that's it. That was the thing. Like, the ending of Picard was for Star Trek Next Gen fans what the Star Wars sequels could have been. You could have brought new characters in and still treated the legacy characters with respect and had a respectful passing of the torch.
Yeah, you could have got to the first couple of movies, and by the third one, they were off on their own or mostly on their own, and they got them through the first 2. And they kept teasing that they were going to put them all together, like Luke, Han, and Leia are going to be together, and then they didn't do it. The one thing, you had one job.
Yeah, and they will never have that chance again.
I still can't understand why they thought that was a good idea. I will never understand that. Nobody understands that because it's stupid. Anyway, but Lisa, you got that finally by the 3rd season because Patrick Stewart relented.
Yeah, and thankfully everybody was still alive. I mean, unfortunately, we lost Carrie Fisher, so they can never do that with Star Wars. But it's funny because a couple of years ago, Brent Spiner said he would never come back as Data. So I'm like, how much money were they throwing at these guys? Like, I will never come back as Data. Oh, how much?
Well, also for
a lot of zeros.
To be fair, for his character specifically, they found a way to explain it, but it wasn't really going to work that well. I'm an android that doesn't age.
Well,
but I suddenly aged. I mean, they explain it in the show. They make it make sense.
Yeah.
But I can see why he'd be like, I'm not coming back for so many reasons, but that's going to be one of the main ones, I'm sure.
Well, that was the reason that they killed Data off originally, because he was like, I can't play Data forever. I can't play Data when I'm 65 years old. This is not going to work,
Well, but we know other parts do work.
So he, but then they had to do because they killed him off the way they killed him. They really had to jump through some hoops to bring him back. It's like, oh my God, this kind of reminds me of Misery, where they have to jump through some major hoops to bring the main character back that Annie Wilkes loved. Oh yeah, well, we really, really killed her off. Okay, well, just unkill her. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? Okay, so there's another human body that ages, and spoilers. And we're going to transfer Data and Laura's memory into that body and that ages. And then we're going to explain with yada, 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 yada. And by the end, we get fat old Data. But he's back.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now this is why he's fat and old, guys. This is why, because, movie magic. But there we go. So this is...
They could have just used AI. I'm kidding.
Current year, they would.
have 10 fingers. Well, you would have 10 fingers. Never mind. On one hand.
He's got 10. Why does he have 9 dicks all of a sudden?
10 fingers is what you're supposed to have. It's been a long day, and it's only 2:44. So he has 10 fingers on one hand.
Laura gave him 9 dicks so he can fuck everyone on the Enterprise over. God.
And they all work.
They all work. Ask
no,
Tasha
you can't
Yar.
ask. She's dead.
She's dead. That's the only one he boinked, I guess. He boinked Tasha Yar in season 1. And that's why he had a hologram of her, because he doesn't have feelings, but he's like, one night on the Enterprise.
I mean, why would you keep a picture if you don't care? I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense.
He cared about Tasha Yar. He got booty one time. He cared about Tasha Yar, and he cared about his cat.
I mean, I guess somebody had to care.
The 2 pussies he cared about. That's it, That's Data. Anyway, are we gonna wrap this up?
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.